Welcome back into the film room. I'm your host, Eric Turner. Today, we're going to be taking a look at some of the adjustments by the Bills offense against the Miami Dolphins in Week 8. It was a 26-11 win by the Bills at home, but it left a lot of fans worried about the Bills offense, specifically why they struggled in the first half and the adjustments that they made in the second half to really start to open things up to put points on the board. But personally, I believe those struggles really occurred in the first quarter, and those adjustments by the Bills staff really took effect at the top of the second quarter. So what happened in the first quarter that gave the Bills issues? Well, first of all, the Dolphins were mugging the gap. So they put several defenders on the line of scrimmage, in the A gaps, in the B gaps, in the C gaps, and really made things difficult for the Bills in the run game. They couldn't get the run game going really all that well. And when they went to pass, they were just slightly off. And the Bills didn't quite know what to do when the Dolphins ran those mug pressures, those zero looks, those zero blitzes, something that Josh Allen hasn't really seen a lot of this year and even going back to last year. With how many weapons Josh Allen has now, not many teams are blitzing Josh Allen because he was so good against the blitz last year. So it took the offense and the offensive staff some time to adjust, and I thought that really took effect in the second quarter when on that first drive in the second quarter, Josh Allen called multiple screens at the line of scrimmage. He audibled and checked to those screens when he saw those mug looks or zero pressures. And another way that Brian Daboll and his staff adjusted against the Miami Dolphins was with Cole Beasley. When the Dolphins went to man coverage, which they did quite often, Josh Allen found his best matchup, and that matchup for most of the day was Cole Beasley versus Nick Needham in the slot. So we're going to break down how the Bills beat zero pressures and zero looks, and we're also going to take a look at Cole Beasley and how they got him open and how he really stepped up for Josh Allen in this game against the Dolphins. It's a 1st and 10 situation, ball on the 38-yard line, first down, and the Bills have their adjustments in place now. They saw several cover zero looks in that first quarter. They couldn't run against it. They weren't sure how they wanted to attack it through the air. So watch Allen at the line of scrimmage. Empty set. You see him check to a wide receiver screen here. The Dolphins are showing cover zero across the board. They're mugging all of the gaps inside. Josh simply throws it to Diggs, and look at that, a few yards on first down, also known as an extension of the run game. Brian Flores used an old Belichick move, and that is a rain check. It's a rain audible. It's a way to create pressure up the middle, on the center, and usually it's done out of empty sets, and you'll see that here, so watch more. So basically, whatever direction he is going to slide to, the defender in the opposite gap on this play is Christian Wilkins. He's going to rush. So as Morse slides left, he's going to rush. And then the guy that Morse is technically sliding to, he's going to pop out into coverage. But on this play, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really manifest and impact this play because it's a quick screen out to Diggs. But that's something to keep in mind as we go forward in the film. So on the very next play, 2nd and 2 situation, ball on the 46-yard line, the Bills align in a 2-by-2 set, and they stack the wide receivers, send them out wide. And Allen will check into another wide receiver screen, another example of them using the screen game as an extension of the run game. You see Josh go up to the line of scrimmage and probably get the call from Daboll. Too high look, light box. They could easily run it here. But the offensive line, one that was shuffled around this week because of injuries, struggled to run block in the first quarter. So they said, you know what? We're going to check into some screens to essentially run the ball, but with the receivers. They get out to Beasley here on 2nd and 2, but Beasley screws up. They have the leverage. They have a hat on a hat right here, but you'd like to see Beasley cut up inside of the block by Sanders here. You want to see him cut up inside and get that first down. He doesn't, and it was a mistake by him, and he stopped short of the first down marker there. Bills go on to fail on 3rd down. On 3rd and 1, Moss is stopped. So again, Josh at the line of scrimmage was very good in this game, especially from the second quarter on. He gets the call, he gets the wide receiver screen, adjusts where Moss is going to align, and really puts the force defender in the slot over here in a bind. You know, look at how that little fake right there to Moss holds him and holds this guy right here and gives them the leverage. Beasley just needed to get upfield as soon as possible inside that block by Sanders. 1st and 10 situation, ball on the 25-yard line, midway through the second quarter. The game is tied at 3. And if you watch my bye week video about the red zone, one of the things I talked about is how Josh Allen has struggled to throw the ball down the seam. Well, when he saw cover 3 looks in this game, he wasn't afraid to throw it down the seam like he does to Beasley here. He threads this ball here down the seam to the bottom of the screen. So let's take a look at it from the beginning. Josh thinks initially that they're probably in man coverage. You see everyone stacked on their guys, but post-snap, the Dolphins just drop out into cover 3, and Josh thinks he has a free play. He thinks the Dolphins jumped off sides right there, but they don't. You see him point it out to the refs. We see him do that all the time. He hits the top of his drop, and you'll see it better from the end zone angle. He does a great job with his eyes and holding the deep safety and kind of manipulating him to shade to the top of the screen just a little bit. And that gives Josh a nice alleyway right down the seam, just inside the numbers to Beasley, as the flats defender drops out here, as this hook to curl defender kind of gets his depth. There's a nice little gap in between those two defenders, and Josh is able to process the coverage and then hit Beasley in rhythm in the hole. And you see Beasley kind of slow the pace of his route down, kind of sit down in that zone, in that soft spot. And good thing he did, because if Josh leads him up the field more, the corner right here, Jones, is bailing deep, and he's supposed to be splitting these two vertical routes. So if Josh hits him up the seam with power and tries using a little more velocity, there's a good chance that Jones can break on this better and be in better position to separate the ball from Beasley. Beasley was incredibly important to the Bills in this game when the Dolphins dropped into zone and when they dropped into man coverage, as you'll see in the breakdowns later. Look at the eye manipulation by Josh Allen. Looking to his right, looking down the seam to Davis over here on the right numbers, going right down the seam there. He looks at the safety, sees what direction that guy is drifting. He's drifting to Davis. All verticals concept, immediately switch to the opposite seam of that safety rotation. Josh does that, and then again drops a dime in there to Beasley and even saves him from a big hit. All right, still in the second quarter, 7:53 on the clock. Game tied at 3, 1st and 10 situation, ball on the 45-yard line. And you see Josh again getting to the line of scrimmage and changing the play. It's a 2-by-2 set, and it's just odd how the Dolphins wanted to attack Josh Allen with blitzes, with these mugged looks, with these cover 0 pressure looks. And you can see there's no one deep. They're showing man coverage. They're mugging all of the gaps. They're showing 0 pressures, almost reminiscent of Josh's first and second year, where he struggled to recognize these 0 pressures and get out of it, get into good plays. But once the Bills figured out that that was going to be Flores' plan of attack, I mean, Josh Allen had the keys to the kingdom here. So you see him check into a screen to Diggs to the top of the screen. Again, nothing flashy. Very simple. You have Davis in the slot, one of their better blockers at the receiver position. Josh gets it to Diggs, and he gets a few yards. Is it a lot of yards? No, it's about 3 yards, but that's getting out of a bad play, especially if the Bills had a run called here, and getting them into a play that got them a few yards, got them into a manageable second down situation where they didn't have to get behind the chains and try to push the ball down the field on the next 2 downs. So good recognition and play by the Bills. Nothing flashy, but smart, heady play as the Dolphins showed that 0 pressure again. The third quarter, this is where the Bills started looking Beasley's way often. 3rd and 12 situation, 12:13 on the clock. Game is tied at 3, ball on the 19-yard line. The Dolphins show a 2-high safety set, and Beasley's to the top of the screen outside as the number 1 wide receiver, and he's running a cross over the middle, and this is incomplete, but I want you to watch what the Dolphins were doing on this 3rd down. This is when defenses start to get creative, right? So as Diggs releases, he has a guy over him. He has Howard, but then you have Brandon Jones playing inside leverage. So he's bracketed really well. Now to the bottom of the screen, Sanders is going deep here. He has a guy in his pocket, but he also has some safety help over the top. So that means the 2 options for Allen are really Sweeney on the cross and then Beasley on the shallow cross. And again, this is the half when the Bills started looking to Beasley quite often. So Josh is eliminating all the other options. Now he knows he has to attack the middle of the field. He has a good pocket, and he's looking at Beasley. It's tight coverage. It's a tight window throw, and it goes incomplete. But when teams want to do that to the Bills offense, when they want to take away their big players in Sanders and Diggs, other options like Beasley, like Sweeney, like Knox prior to his injury, they're going to have to get open over the middle of the field. And on this play, it just doesn't work out for the Bills. But you got to like the process from Josh Allen. He's patient with pressure in his face, goes through his progressions, trusts his feet, and then makes his throw with someone at his feet, trash at his feet. And it's a tough throw, hits the hands of Beasley, but it's tight coverage by Needham as the ball drops in there. So good coverage by the Dolphins, but really foreshadowing what the Bills were going to do the rest of this game, and that is attack Needham with Cole Beasley. So 3rd and 14 situation, 9:48 on the clock in the third quarter. Bills are still tied with the Dolphins at 3, ball on the 21-yard line. And you can tell that Brian Flores trusted his guys in coverage. 2 high safety look, press man. You see the corners are all up at the line of scrimmage, eyes on their man. And it's really up to Josh Allen to find his best matchup. And that matchup on this play is Cole Beasley in the slot on a pivot route at the 30-yard line. Essentially, this play breaks into a flood concept with 3 receivers to the bottom of the screen. Beasley separates really well at the top of this route, and Josh finds him, and Beasley immediately gets upfield for the first down. So good work by Josh Allen. I mean, they're showing man coverage. I don't know why Flores attempted this type of coverage versus the Bills. That's what they tore up last year. They were really good against man coverage, and they realized in the first half that Beasley was going to get opportunities if the Dolphins were going to go to man coverage, and he does right there by separating against Needham. On 3rd and long, though, when you want to push the ball down the field against this type of coverage, you got to have protection. You got to give your quarterback time. And you see Josh Allen does a good job of manipulating the pocket just a little bit. Here, you see the edge defender drop out and peel out with the running back Moss there. So Josh knows that he has enough guys to block up the 4-man rush. So he just slides around a little bit, gives Beasley some time here. That defender, Needham, plays over the top, and then that's when you see Beasley drop those hips and pivot back out to the boundary. I mean, beautiful route by Beasley. Look at that change of direction and separation. That's several yards of separation for Beasley versus Needham. That is winning your matchup and becoming QB friendly for your quarterback and converting the first down. Great work by Bees. In 6 situation, 9:06 on the clock, game still tied. We're in the third quarter, ball on the 40-yard line. Bills send out another 2x2 set. They love running their RPOs out of this set and formation, and that's exactly what they do here. I want you to watch the combination by Beasley. Beasley's running diagonal or flat route to the top of the screen. Sanders is running a curl, but he gets disrupted at the line of scrimmage by Jones, which opens up the play for Beasley here. So what happens on this play? The Bills are running an RPO, and generally, post-snap, Josh Allen would be reading the end man on the line of scrimmage, who I have circled there. Well, that guy plays it flat-footed, and generally that's a give read. Generally, Josh would be giving it to the running back right there. But I think he sees that the Dolphins are dropping out this defender right here. So the Bills essentially have a 2-on-1 on Jones. So they have leverage outside. So rather than run it up the middle, which is a good thing they didn't, because the Dolphins sent Howard off the edge here and he probably would have made the tackle on the running back. Josh Allen pulls it and gets it out to Beasley, and he's wide open because Jones wants to get physical with Sanders, and yes, he does. He wins that matchup, but that gives the Bills and Beasley leverage out wide. Easy pitch and catch for the first down. All right, same drive, third quarter, 8:38 on the clock. Game still tied at 3. 1st and 10 situation, ball at midfield. So if you didn't believe me that the Bills were making a concerted effort to get Beasley the ball, check this play out. So Beasley's to the bottom of the screen. It's a 2x2 set. He's to the field, to the bottom, and out wide. He is the number 1 wide receiver, which he's only done 11.6% of the plays this year. And it's a simple speed out versus the Dolphins here, and he's wide open as the Dolphins drop out to cover 3. And I mean, that's easy money on first down. Prior to the snap, you see the Dolphins showing almost like it's man coverage. Look at Jones to the bottom there. Look at his posture. I mean, he's head up over Beasley, eyes on him. Josh is looking right at him. He's thinking, hey, it's probably man coverage. Even to the top, they're kind of manned up. This safety right here is manned up on Sweeney. So everyone kind of looks manned up, right? Post snap, though, they change a picture. They drop out into cover 3. Easy read for Josh. Watch the safety right here. Watch how he plays the coverage here. He slow plays the flats here. I don't know why he is not buzzing out wide to get underneath this route by Beasley. Not that it would have mattered, but Josh reads it. He sees Jones in a bail. That is not Jones's area. That is the other defender underneath area. He's not in position. Josh makes the easy throw out to Beasley. Again, a concerted effort to get Beasley involved in the second half. And Josh did not waste any time getting it to him. To the top of the screen, Jones is yapping with Sanders. You saw them get physical earlier. You saw them in their first matchup get physical, and Sanders toast him off the line of scrimmage. So they were jibber-jabbering back and forth throughout this game. But watch the slot defender need him. Watch the deep safety. Watch their leverage. You see the nickel coming down off the edge. Josh sees that. He's probably coming, especially with the safety coming down to the 2 receiver side. So Josh, again, just calls off the run and sends it out to Beasley on the wide receiver screen. And Beasley gets upfield, and now he is stopped short by a yard, but he sets up 3rd and 1, and Josh converts it on 3rd and 1. So the Bills knew exactly what the Dolphins were doing, and Dable and Allen put their offense in a situation where they could identify that and then put their players like Cole Beasley and others in positions to move the chains and stay ahead of the chains against the Dolphins defense. And you got to give it to Cole Beasley. On this screen at the end of it, he takes a hit. He gets speared from one of the Dolphins defenders right here, and he stayed on the field for a couple of minutes. He just had a great game. He was targeted a lot, and he made some big plays and converted some first downs. But little plays like this go a long way. And he even showed off his toughness after this hit from the Dolphins defender. 2nd and 10 situation, ball on the 36-yard line, 1:46 on the clock at the end of the 3rd quarter. The Bills are now up 10-3. And this might be my favorite play from the game. Very simple play, but really showed you how in tune Dable and Allen were in the second half. So 2nd and long, rather than run it like they had done a couple times in the first half, they spread the Dolphins out. And they get man coverage. And they know it's man coverage because to the bottom, on the running back, they have a linebacker. And the slot is Tommy Sweeney. He's got a safety over him. So man to man. And the Bills realize, well, it seems like Howard is playing on Diggs. Jones is playing on Sanders when they're in man coverage. Well, Beasley is playing against Needham, and they are going to attack him, and that's what happens on this play. But watch the release by Beasley, the patience, how he slows the pace down on his route there. Usually, he's the guy in the slot to the top of the screen running the weak side option. He's not usually the guy that runs those intermediate or even deep routes down the field. Usually, that's Sanders or Diggs. Well, no, Beasley's the number 3 to the bottom. He paces that route and then accelerates over the middle for a big gain to move the chains. But we need to look at this a little closer. Watch Beasley first. Watch his route, his speed, and how he times it up with the throw from Josh Allen. All right? But now let's go back and watch Josh Allen because this is fun. So man-to-man coverage. They have a rat defender in the middle of the field, right? That linebacker, 52, is sitting right in the middle. Kind of that low hole player. If Josh were to take off, he would be the spy for him. But watch Josh Allen manipulate that linebacker and even Jones over the top of Sanders. Right now, he's looking to Sanders. And look at that little shoulder roll, that little shoulder fake right there. Look what it does to the linebacker and Jones. They both break on the weak side option route by Sanders. And that opens up and times up perfectly with the route by Beasley. The separation is there. The throw is money. Just fantastic eye manipulation and patience from Josh Allen and a route running clinic in pace by Cole Beasley for the first down. So 2nd and 4 situation, ball on the 41-yard line, 55 seconds on the clock in the 3rd quarter. Bills are still up 10-3. And you see the Dolphins mug the gaps again. They send a bunch of guys into all the gaps up the middle as the Bills are set in a 2x2 set. And Josh says, no, I don't like this. Looks like a zero pressure. They're mugging all of the gaps. Spread out. Get out there. And we're going to get into our audible. And in this game, it was audibling to wide receiver screens. And so look now. Now look how much more clear a picture Josh has on what they're doing on defense, especially in coverage on second medium. Josh gets him into a good play here. That's a quick screen to Diggs. And Diggs is able to get up in the alley with the right guard and right tackle getting out wide and convert this into a first down. I mean, these were the type of coverages and pressures that defenses showed against Josh Allen when he was a rookie and even in his second year, because Dable hadn't quite figured out ways for Josh Allen to beat zero pressures. And here's that rain check again, right? More slides to the right here to pick him up. So this guy rushes. These guys are all sliding out, right? Well, as Morse does that, that guy pops out. Again, doesn't matter on this play, but that is a way to beat these type of pressures from Brian Flores, the Bill Belichick disciple. So good work by the Bills of adjusting with screens and Cole Beasley as this game went on. So top of the fourth quarter, 3rd and 13 situation, ball on the 33-yard line. Bills are up 10-3. This is really kind of a backbreaker play for the Dolphins. They get the Bills in 3rd and long, but are unable to stop Cole Beasley. Bills in a 2x2 set, and Beasley's in the slot to the top of the screen, and he has some cushion in man coverage. Needham gives him some cushion because it's 3rd and long, and Beasley eats it up and then accelerates to the boundary, and Josh Allen puts it on him. So the Dolphins are showing pressure, but it's picked up really well by the Bills' offensive line, and running back Devin Singletary gives Josh Allen just enough time to push the ball down the field, but place it perfectly for Beasley to convert. So watch Singletary here. He steps up a little bit. He knows he's going to try to meet the Dolphins pass rusher as close to the line of scrimmage as possible. The Dolphins try running a little twist here, so it's a 4-man game. And you're going to see Phillips twist inside here, but I want you to watch Mitch Morse. Watch him snap off number 70 right here. Boom, snaps him off, hands him over to Bucker. Then see him pivot to pick up Jalen Phillips. And that gives Josh Allen just enough time to get rid of the ball. Great communication by the left side of the line, including Devin Singletary. They picked up 4 for 4 here, and that gave Josh Allen time to push the ball down the field. Just great work in a critical moment in this game against the Dolphins. All right, same drive, 13:29 on the clock, 2nd and 10 situation, ball on the 19-yard line. Bills are up 7 points. So Josh is looking at the defense, and he sees the secondary and how they're aligned over the receivers to the bottom and even to the top. You see him right there, call it audible. He's changing the route combination, and Beasley relays it to Sanders. But watch Diggs. Allen has an inkling that there is pressure coming, and the middle of the field is going to be open. He sees this guy creeping up right here into the second level and then rushing. So they run a quick play action pass. A guy does come free, but watch Diggs get inside leverage on Howard. So another zero pressure, and Josh puts the Bills into a play that attacks the middle of the field. He has several routes that go over the middle, the weak spot, because the middle of the field is open, and he's got several options. He decides to anticipate the throw to Diggs, and he hits him in stride for a touchdown. This play was the backbreaker for the Dolphins, and really the climax of how they were trying to blitz and pressure Josh Allen, and how the Bills adjusted. You saw them finally capitalize with points on these type of coverages and these type of pressures. Quick pressure in his face, but he knows where he wants to go, and that's to the middle of the field. You see him anticipate it. Look at that throw. Looking with a little hop, rotates through, takes a little off the ball for Diggs, and Diggs is able to get into the end zone. Diggs needs to keep his day job. He's not a punter. You can see that there. That was a sorry attempt at a punt into the stands. So don't lose your day job, brother. All right, 3rd and 11 here. 7:13 on the clock in the fourth quarter. Ball on the 44-yard line. Bills are up 17-11. They need a play here. And on 3rd and long, they find Cole Beasley. And it's really the culmination of getting the ball to Beasley and the Dolphins showing those zero pressures, those blitzes up the middle against the Bills. It's basically the same play you just saw, run to Diggs. But this time on the backside of the formation, they're just running a stop route. But Beasley's in the slot to the bottom. And as you can see, the corner is in off and soft coverage, and he just turns that guy around and converts the first down. Bills do a great job at the line of scrimmage of blocking it up long enough to let Josh Allen push the ball down the field. But I want you to pay attention to who are the underneath defenders here, especially once we get to the end zone copy here. So Beasley has a guy over the top, but the Dolphins are expecting two guys to be underneath these routes, right? Giving them leverage, letting this guy worry about just deep stuff. Well, this is a defensive tackle dropping out. He's the guy popping out, as we saw in some of those pressures and twists earlier in the game. He is not able to get in the passing lane, and Josh Allen and Cole Beasley convert. So watch it from the end zone angle. Watch the game. They're playing with Mitch Morse here on the snap. He slides this way to pick up the defensive tackle, gives this guy the green light, but the Bills aren't running that same offensive line pass protection. This time, they're sliding everyone, and even the tight end right here, picking up this gap, and then the running back is coming across here. So they're not running the same pass protection, but it doesn't change for the defense. It has more slides to his left. That allows the defensive tackle to pop out and the defensive end to pop out and this guy to rush. Well, that comes back to bite them because Morse helps, as does the running back, Zach Moss. And now Josh has a nice pocket. He has time. He's able to push the ball down the field. The two underneath defenders in this zero pressure are a defensive end and defensive tackle. With way too much green in between those two levels, Josh Allen finds Beasley for the conversion. Once again, thank you for joining me in the film room. Hopefully you learned a few things from this game against the Dolphins. It's a divisional game, so it was close for a good portion of the game, but I thought that the Bills staff and players made the proper adjustments, got away from their initial game plan that was really keeping the game close, kind of opened things up a little bit, figured out what the Dolphins were doing on that side of the ball, and that's when you saw Josh Allen take over the game. He put the offense in the proper plays versus those cover zero blitzes and pressures, and then he got the ball to his playmaker. He got the ball to Cole Beasley, a guy that had the advantageous matchup for most of the day when the Dolphins went to man coverage and made plays for Josh Allen when he needed it on third downs, especially third and long. Josh Allen and Cole Beasley took over. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on all social media platforms, including Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and now TikTok. We are a video-based brand, so we are now on TikTok. You can find us there at cover_1_. We break down film on there. We have clips from all of our podcasts and live streams, and all the content we do here in the film room can be found on there in shorter clips. Once again, I'm Eric Turner, and we will see you in the film room next week.